So here's another cool enterprise feature of ZFS. I remember one of my customers, this was a while back, but telling me how much they paid for Snapshot for their big enterprise storage. Again, as much as a luxury automobile. So Snapshot and Clone built in. So Snapshot is based on the idea that ZFS is built on the copy on write design. Not going to talk a lot about that, just that ZFS always writes into free space for the admin, all new data written into free space. And so if I remove a file from the system, those blocks are put back on the free list and, can be used for the next file. Now, when we have a file that we add data to or we change data in, that instead of overwriting existing data, the new data is always written to new locations. So Snapshot allows us to allows that new files will write into free space, but the old blocks will stay put. So Snapshot kind of locks in those blocks, or basically, I always think of it as kind of like a symbolic link, but it keeps the older version of it. So all snapshots are read-only. The syntax is of a data set, right? So you always have to say ZFS snapshot this data set. But then you put an @ symbol and then any string that you want. So you see a lot of, this is a very old slide, 73013, snapshot the data on this date. That snapshot will then be given that string as a name. So, giving it a good name, help you locate it. So let's go out for a demo of this. So I just did a little bit of work here. I'll show you. I'm out in my data set, bigpool/data. You can see my other data sets just look like directories from here. If I do an ls-l. Now I have this file. It's just a little file called file. I'll show you what's in there. Hi everyone. So if I do a snapshot, so I'll do a ZFS snapshot of bigpool/data, and then the @ symbol, and again, any string I want, string, I'll just call it now. No, I'll call it today. Now, as soon as I do that in the data set, now I do an ls-l, you can't see it, but if I do an ls-la, I should be able to see, no, actually it's completely hidden. I can cd into .zfs. It's created a .zfs directory here in this data set. Bam, there it is. I couldn't see it. It's hidden. And that was one of the variables I can set on the data set. I can say snapdir equals hidden, makes it so you can't see it. Or you might want it to be seen. Now, if we go in this directory and do an ls, you'll see that there is snapshot. And in ls again, there's my one called today. So if I cd into that directory, now we do see not only the file, but we see the children data sets also are there. So if I just say snapshot data, it's going to by default take all of the children with it. So those are also snapped. Now you see this file here, more file, it should say hi everyone, right? So pwd, we're in the snapshot directory. Let's go back up again. I think that's the right location. Yep, pwd, I'm back up in data. Now if I take file and, I don't know, let's just add some more data to it. Probably my simplest vi command. I'm just going to write this out. Now when we do an ls-l here of how big that file is, it's gotten quite a bit bigger. Now if we go back down here, I'm just gonna copy that. into that back out here, and we do an ls minus l, you'll see that the original just stays, right? I've added more data to the actual working directory. The snapshot is a point in time snapshot and never changes. It still has the same information as it had before. Now there's all kinds of things I can do with the snapshot. I can clone the snapshot, make a new data set out of it. I can roll it back, right? Like I can say, oh, I don't like what's in big pool data. Roll me back to earlier today, or might have a snapshot that's called, Bob or something. And I can also use snapshots for replication, for send and receive. What we can do is we can have a snapshot and another snapshot and just send all of the changes between the two snapshots. So lots of things that we can do with snapshots, and roll back, clone. Clone produces a read-write version of that snapshot. So here's the syntax for clone. ZFS clone a snapshot, give it its full name, what pool it's in, what the data set name is, what the particular snapshot we're looking at, and then we say big pool new. And then when we do a df minus k, or look at the file systems or data sets that we have, it's a data set, just like any other data sets. Can you snapshot it? Yeah. Can you share it? Yeah. Can you, all of the things, it'll have all 40 of those settings in it that make it usable as any other data set on the system. Now, one of the things that's kind of cool to do is to use this for virtual machines. And it is tricky to change the virtual machine names, and sometimes they have unique IDs for them. But I've been able to do this where I have, a virtual machine that's sitting on a data set, and then doing a snapshot and clone of it. And when I get to my clone, how much disk space does it use? Almost nothing, right? I could create, one of my friends back at Sun had a blog on how to create 100 VMs in less than a second. So, I could potentially, snapshot and clone it, just keep cloning it. VM2, VM3, VM4, VM5, VM6, use that snapshot to create a bunch of them and use, almost no disk space. Once you get inside those VMs, you're going to want to, have different host names, different IP addresses. There's going to be a little bit of difference between them, but, really a nice way to, create out virtual machine infrastructure. So let me show you what this looks like. ZFS and zpool both have lists. If I do a ZFS list, you can see all the data sets that are currently known to ZFS. So all the pools and data sets, their mount points, just some basic information. Now ZFS has also this list minus T for type. I'm going to put in snapshot, and it's going to show me the snapshots I have. So I have my data snapshot. So if I want to do the clone, I just say to ZFS, please clone this snapshot, big pool / data at today. So I'm going to say, please, Mr. ZFS, will you clone this to a new data set? So I'm just going to say whatever I want here, big pool / whatever, new. Now when I do the snapshot minus T, you'll see that it's not a snapshot, but when I do the ZFS list straight up, you'll see that new is a data set just like any other data set on the system.